12 o'clock, and here's the Midday news. First, the top stories. Apprentice hacks his master and wife to death at Ijako near Ifo, Ogun State. Obasanjo asks Nigerians to beware of APC and PDP in 2019. National Identity Management Commission begins fresh distribution of national ID cards. 28 people killed, 83 others injured in fighting between troops and insurgents near Maiduguri. Saudi Crown Prince says Israelis have rights to ancestral land. Trump accused illegal migrants of stealing America. I am Tobi, just bringing the news in details shortly. An apprentice has been arrested by the police in Ogun State for allegedly hacking to death his elder brother and his wife at Ijako near Ifo. The suspect, Okwodili Okoro, along with an accomplice last Saturday, hacked Azubuike Okoro and his wife, Jacinta, to death at their home in Ijako. Spokesman of the State Police Command, Abimbola Oyemi, says the suspect under interrogation says he had served his brother for 3 years in his cosmetic trade. At the end of 3 years apprenticeship, Okwodili claims his elder brother failed to settle him and he sought the assistance of one Kenneth at Chapel in Abeokuta to accompany him to meet the brother. According to Abimbola, the suspect under interrogation claims the both cutlasses sharpened them and headed for the home of the deceased, who they met eating with his wife. The suspect says they hacked both of them to death without allowing them to utter a word. Police detectives led by the Divisional Police Officer of the Songo Police Division, Nasiruddin Oyedele, raced to the scene, arrested the suspect while his accomplice is on the run. Workers nationwide are resuming duties today from the Easter celebration holidays. Last Friday and Monday had been declared work-free by the federal government to enable them celebrate the event. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has asked the ruling APC federal government to stop complaining about the challenges it inherited from the Jonathan administration. President Muhammadu Buhari, according to Obasanjo, would not have been elected in the 2015 polls if there were no challenges. Obasanjo again spoke on the state of the nation while receiving members of the political movement, the New Nigeria 2019, at the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library Complex in Abeokuta. He asked Nigerians not to vote for the APC in the 2019 polls so as not to reinforce the alleged failure of the Buhari administration.
That your business will have been better today if we have the competent and effective and performing government. Giving a few we got many challenges. If there are no challenges, then you wouldn't need to go on the planning because you know that there are challenges.
Obasanjo, who floated the Coalition for Nigeria movement, also cautioned Nigerians not to be deceived by a public apology by the PDP for its shortcomings while in power. Neither APC nor the PDP, according to Obasanjo, could bail Nigeria out of its economic woes, describing both as leprous hands. A serving Senator, Joshua Lidani, has been attacked by some youth while visiting his constituency in Gombe State. The timely intervention by armed police officers saved the senator from being lynched by the youth in Talashi, the headquarters of Balanga local government area. The senator was in town to supervise a building project he was sponsoring at the Arabic and Islamic College. The youth accused him of not visiting the constituency since he was elected in 2015, stoned his motorcade and besieged the palace of Balawaya, where he visited. The presidency is to build a zonal prison at a cost of 13 billion naira in Bauchi for the state to the northeast region as part of measures to decongest the existing prisons in the country. A similar 3,000 capacity prison is to be built in each of the 5 other geopolitical zones. Special Advisor to Interior Minister Aliyu Gabi explains that a proposed Bauchi mega prison project will be located on the 25 hectares of land in the Bauchi state capital. The Bauchi state government, according to him, has agreed to foot the compensation bill of owners of land acquired for the prison project. National Identity Management Commission (NIMC) says the fresh distribution of national identity cards will begin today nationwide. The agency, in a statement on Monday, dismissed reports that it has suspended the issuance of the national identity cards to those who enrolled in the program. It asked those who had received a short message to proceed to where they enrolled to pick up the national identity card as from April 3. The Commission also directed those who had completed their enrollment but yet to receive the SMS to check the status of their cards on its website nimc.gov.ng. For those who have relocated after enrolling, the Commission asked them to visit its office closer to them to request for a transfer form. Several people have been killed and injured in a gun battle between troops and Boko Haram fighters who attempted to infiltrate Maiduguri, the Borno state capital. Those killed in the fight, which took place 20 kilometers to the city, included 6 Boko Haram fighters, 7 Boko Haram suicide bombers, 14 civilians, and a soldier. 83 others were injured in the fighting. Spokesman of Operation Lafiadori, Colonel Oyema Wajuko, says the insurgents on Sunday night attacked a military base on the outskirts of the city with suicide bombers, mortars, and gunmen. Wajuko says the insurgents, after the attempted invasion of the city, was repelled by troops, attacked Bale Shalwa and Al Kamali villages while retreating. About 14 of the villagers died in the crossfire between troops and the fleeing insurgents. He listed weapons captured from the fleeing insurgents as including 2 AK-47 rifles and 2 magazines. A 17-year-old girl has committed suicide in Jigawa State by consuming an insecticide popularly known as otapiapia. The girl, identified as Gambo Jibril, committed the act at Gambira village in Bidinkudu local government area of the state. The state police spokesman, Abu Jinjiri, says she was rushed to the general hospital unconsciously after she was suspected to have drank substance believed to be the insecticide. Jinjiri explains that detectives who rushed to the hospital met her dead. You're still listening to the Midday News on Rock City 101.9 FM. Up next, we bring you foreign, business, and sport news. Please do stay with us. Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince has said that Israelis are entitled to live peacefully on their own land. Mohammed bin Salman, speaking in an interview, however, says there must be a peace agreement to assure the stability for everyone and to have normal relations in the region. Saudi Arabia, birthplace of Islam and home to its holiest shrines, does not recognize Israel. But the Saudi Crown Prince says there are a lot of interests that his country share with Israel, and if there is peace, there will be a lot of interest between Israel and the Gulf Cooperation Council countries. Saudi Arabia opened its airspace for the first time to a commercial flight to Israel last month, which an Israeli official hailed as historic following 2 years of effort. In November, an Israeli cabinet member disclosed covert contact with Saudi Arabia, a rare acknowledgement of long-rumored secret dealings, which Riyadh still denies. For the second day in a row, US President Donald Trump railed against illegal immigration into the country at its southern border with Mexico, contending that the US is being stolen by the migrants. In his new tweet Monday, Trump asked Congress to immediately pass border legislation to stop the massive inflow of drugs and people. He urges them to do so even if it means abandoning long-standing Senate parliamentary rules to approve a measure on a simple majority vote. He complained about a stream of about 1,100 people marching north through Mexico to escape poverty and violence in Central America in long-shot bids to win asylum in the United States. Trump asked Mexico to stop them at the northern border and not allow them to pass through into the US, which has no effective border laws. Anti-apartheid campaigner Winnie Madikizela Mandela, known to millions as the mother of South Africa, will be given a state funeral with events around the country to remember her life. President Cyril Ramaphosa, who announced this, said the nation was ill-prepared for her early departure. The president also paid tribute to her determination and strength in the face of a regime which did everything it could to break her spirit, including torture and imprisonment. Mrs. Madikizela Mandela, who along with her husband Nelson Mandela became a symbol of the struggle against the white minority rule, died on Monday at the age of 81. Her funeral will be held at Orlando Stadium near her home in Soweto on Saturday 14th of April, with an official memorial 3 days before, President Cyril Ramaphosa told the media on Monday evening. In business, Techno Mobile says it will soon establish an assembly plant in Nigeria to create new jobs and exchange technological ideology. The General Manager of Techno Nigeria Limited, Mr. Chidi Okonkwo, made this known while leading a delegation from the company to visit the Minister of Communications, Mr. Debayo Shito, in Abuja. Techno products, according to him, thrive in Nigerian markets as a result of the enabling environments created by the federal government. Mr. Shitu expressed delight over the proposed telephone assembly plant project, describing it as a step towards the right direction. He says the federal government will partner with Techno Nigeria Limited to achieve the nation's technological development drive. Finally, in the mini news, sport news. Nigerian football legend Nwankwo Kanu has announced he will run for president of Nigeria in 2019. If elected, the famed footballer promised to do things differently and restore honor and integrity to public service by keeping the best and attracting the best. The former Arsenal FC and Inter Milan forward makes the declaration and goal. It says the last 18 years of leadership has witnessed a decline in all critical sectors of life in Nigeria, plus general insecurity in the land. Kanu promises to do all it takes to wrestle corruption, which has become blatant and widespread, adding that the rest of the world looks at Nigeria as the home of corruption. But that was the media news, and just before we go, the major stories once again. Apprentice hacks his master and wife to death at Ijako near Ifo, Ogun State. Obasanjo asked Nigerians to beware of the APC and the PDP in 2019. The National Identity Management Commission begins fresh distribution of national ID card. 28 killed, 83 injured in fighting between troops and insurgents near Maiduguri. On this foreign scene, we told you that Saudi Crown Prince says Israelis have rights to their ancestral land. We also told you that Donald Trump has accused illegal migrants of trying to steal America. For more stories and to listen to us live, please log on to our website www.rockcityfmradio.com/live. Thank you so much for listening. I am Tobi Joseph. Good afternoon.